For those in this room in particular, a special thank you for joining me, and you know me well. I think I can be described as an optimistic pragmatist. One needs that perspective when engaging with the broader Middle East, fighting for democracy and supporting women broadly, and ensuring that women have a seat at the table. I believe so strongly that direct engagement is a critical component to fostering stability, which is the seed to understanding, reconciliation, and resilience. Direct engagement, though, is no easy task. While creating new pathways, it is essential to have in one's toolbox, which fosters that support for peace, reconciliation, which is the backbone for stability in the global community that we're all referencing. Yes, you heard about my career. I hope my career will continue. It's far from being over. I've designed and manufactured many public-private partnerships, all of which are intended to create new pathways to support civil society. And I've learned all too often that while the public-private partnerships have been extraordinarily meaningful, all too often it was the first time that whether civil society leaders or business leaders, it was the first time that they met with their own governments. And that is a note of caution, because partnerships, and I think Morgan, you mentioned it, it takes time to get progress. It is hard work. But the problem we have is in this ever-changing global economy and the conflict that is enveloping that global economy, we need progress, and we need it now. And it's hard to reconcile those two dynamics. Civil society, and especially young leaders, we need them out. We need them out on the street, but we need them to engage in their governments. It is the only way that we can effectuate change. And I know they too want very much to engage, and it's no easy task. People do need to see deliverables in order to get traction. A good case in point is the Middle East, where there remains a deficit of participation, a deficit of knowledge, of economic opportunity and peace. My argument is we have to convene to act. We have to address, as the UN spelled out, these 4 deficits some 20 years ago. And sadly, I'm here to tell you, it hasn't changed, not one bit. Be it in America, the Middle East, or any other global area facing discontent or conflict, when you pause and engage in an exchange of ideas, of seeing a person across that divide and understanding one another's needs, a shared consensus seems to emerge, which happens to support fostering social cohesion and facilitates an environment for sustainable growth and development while tackling the above-mentioned 4 deficits that I referred to. With any of this work, we must define our roles and responsibilities and ensure that they line up. Seeing the young Fulbright scholars, many of whom are in this room, brings me enormous hope. I had the opportunity to meet with many of them, to hear their dreams, their aspirations, and their takeaways. And from the time they spent in the United States, I can assure you, they're rolling up their sleeves. They're challenging assumptions today and looking at how they're going to return to their respective homes. And they assured me that that return is going to be different because they have a better understanding of America, of the time they spent here, of building what I call a rich toolbox of knowledge and hopefully mentoring others as they were mentored. The urgent need is now. Time isn't waiting to fight against social and political uncertainties. As we are witnessing in many countries, steps seem to be taking backward, not forward. What we also know to be accurate, The generation that is coming of age today is smart, outspoken, and fearless. They're pushing us, everyone in this room, to do more as they shoulder more of the burden. The Fulbright scholars, in my mind, are a real bridge. They bridge the world of ideas and action. They are rolling up their sleeves. They're bringing to the table real solutions to address the instability in their countries, which seems to be doubling down. Authoritarianism is on the rise, and the deep polarization which provides the platform for discontent is deepening. New platforms for engagement and delivering on our own well-intentioned ideas for change are vital. We need to be sure that this generation and these scholars are at the table. Let's stand by them and mentor them, help show them, these and future scholars, what we have learned and the values we hold dear, and above all, learn from them. They're willing to engage and push the envelope, and we should mentor them to the extent possible to better leverage these scholars, their goals and aspirations, as it is they who are on the battlefield of ideas. We owe it to this generation to be optimistic, that change can happen if we and they get engaged. Yes, it may take a little longer than expected, but now is not the time to be negative and cower to those who prefer a backward slide. In closing, let me pay special recognition to our son Grant, who is just that generation that's fully present. He's on the battlefield of ideas. He's moving to inform and push us to think outside the box, to engage and mentor others. He has, in his very brief 33 years, accomplished and done so much for good and has stepped forward to mentor others. To my husband, Lee, who's always stood by my side, who helped both Grant and me understand the value of mentorship and active community engagement, thank you to you both for always being by my side. As my friend and mentor, Madeleine Albright, whom you all know we've just lost, one of the most extraordinary, talk about an immigrant story. She was quite an extraordinary person and a real mentor to me. She often said, quote, "We must be doers to have a resilience of spirit and to buckle up our boots." And before I close, a special note to acknowledge my mom. My sister's here with me today, and my nephew Brady. We just lost our mom. She was the other mentor in my life. My mom was a trailblazer well beyond her years. So as Madeleine said, let's buckle up our boots. I have, and I hope each of you will do so. Thank you very much.